In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step breakdown of how to set up your abandoned cart and abandoned checkout flows. These are arguably the most important flows to set up because of one single reason. 70% of all shoppers abandon their carts. This easily adds up to 6 to 7 figures in potential revenue left on the table every single year. I'm not just saying that. My team and I have helped this one brand drive over 1.5 million with their abandoned cart flow in the last year. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set these flows up for yourself and let them recover thousands of dollars in sales while you sleep. If you don't know who I am, my name is Luca and I'm the founder of Grow Pronto. We're an email and SMS agency that has driven a little over $60 million in email and SMS sales for over 75 e-commerce brands to date. Just before we jump into the video, if you want to fast track how well you improve your abandoned cart flow, I'd recommend to claim the free guide in the description that goes over everything you can possibly want to know about abandoned cart flows and even has 3 free bonuses, including number 1, a 100 abandoned cart email swipe file with some of the top abandoned cart emails that I've personally curated for this video. Number 2, ready to go Figma templates for abandoned cart emails that you can use right away to improve your abandoned cart flow. Or best of all, number 3, a custom ChatGPT built to write your abandoned cart flows immediately with all the lessons that I'm about to teach in this video. If that sounds good to you, just click the link in the description. It's free to download. Now let's get back to the video. Here's the biggest mistake 90% of brands make when creating their abandoned cart flows. It's confusing their abandoned cart flow with their abandoned checkout flow. You see, in Klaviyo, when you search for an abandoned cart flow, the actual trigger is checkout started, meaning that flow is only triggered when someone initiates a checkout, but not when someone actually adds to their cart. So we have 2 flows here, an abandoned cart flow and abandoned checkout flow. Most brands tend to have only the abandoned checkout flow set up, but if they want to maximize their performance, I'd recommend to have both. After auditing hundreds of accounts and most of the time seeing no true abandoned cart flow set up, I can safely say that most brands would see at least a 35 to 40% lift by having both an abandoned cart flow and an abandoned checkout flow running. Now, just to bring it home, let's look at a quick example of triggering an abandoned cart flow versus an abandoned checkout flow. So right now I'm on the Allbirds website. I'm going to go and add a product to my cart. And just as I added the product to cart right now, this would trigger the abandoned cart flow if I left the website. And now if I want to trigger the abandoned checkout flow, all I would do is visit checkout. And since I'm now on the checkout page, this would trigger the abandoned checkout flow. Now let's hop into Klaviyo and show you how to check if you have an abandoned cart flow actually set up. So in Klaviyo, what I want you to do is come down here where it says metrics, and then under metrics, you just want to search added to cart. If it pops up like it does here, that means you have the abandoned cart metric also set up. To set up the flow, it's going to be very simple. Just go over here to flows and then click create flow. If I search cart, this is going to be the true abandoned cart flow over here, this one and this one. And then over here where it says abandoned cart reminder standard, that is going to be your true abandoned checkout flow. So remember, go into your Klaviyo account and make sure these are both set up. If you don't see the abandoned cart metric set up in your Klaviyo account, I want you to go check the link in the description. I left a Klaviyo article there for you to show you how to set up the trigger for your abandoned cart flow. Here's a quick example of a brand that we helped set this up for. And in the first month, their new abandoned cart flow did a little over 10K in sales. Another important thing to note is that the 10K of recovered revenue is also going to be very profitable. We're just making the most out of the traffic that you're paying thousands of dollars for. Next, we want to structure what a high converting abandoned checkout and abandoned cart flow looks like in Klaviyo. So as you can see here, we do want a lengthy flow. That's one of the mistakes that most brands make as well by having the flow too short. We're going to keep 7 emails in the flow. You can see the time delays here. The first email and SMS are going to go out relatively quickly, and we're going to make sure smart sending is definitely turned off in this flow. And now really quick, here's a brief overview of the content in each of the 7 emails that your brand should include. Email number 1 should be a simple reminder, show them what they left and let them get back on the site. Email number 2, we're going to answer some FAQs because most of the time when someone abandons a cart, they're sold on the product, but they're not sold on making the purchase. If I add a product to cart, let's say a new pair of running shoes, I am most likely sold on the look and design and wearing that shoe every day. I'm just not sold on potentially making the purchase, maybe spending that $200 on a new pair of shoes. Do I need it? Am I going to like it? What happens if I don't like it? What if it doesn't fit? These are the questions that your customers are asking. So once again, in email number 2, we're going to be answering those FAQs and offering their first incentive. Email number 3, we're going to create some urgency by making that offer expire and also adding a risk reversal like a guarantee to make sure they can make that purchase risk-free. Email number 4, once again, playing on the urgency here with an offer extension, plus showcasing some social proof. Email number 5, we want to increase the incentive. Maybe 10% didn't get them, but maybe 15% will, and it often does. Plus, we want to make sure we're crushing any objections that they have as well. Second to last here, in email number 6, we're going to be showing them the offer, plus anything else why they should be buying now. So maybe we include a countdown timer, some reviews, maybe handle objections, anything else that will make it easier for them to go ahead and make that purchase. Finally, number 7, if people still haven't purchased yet, we like to do a plain text reminder from the founder or from the brand just saying, hey, this is your last chance to claim your cart. Here's an additional discount code just for you. Something like that. I'm going to give a further breakdown of each of the 7 emails soon, but first, let's jump into Figma and I'm going to show you how to create a perfect abandoned cart email for a brand that you might recognize. Okay, so now we're in Figma and I'm going to be breaking down the sample abandoned cart email that my team made for Lululemon and explaining why each section is important and why it works. So let's jump into the actual email. At the top here, you will see just a banner like this. Some emails tend to include them, some emails don't. I like to, if we have a certain offer or something that's important to say, I call it a stripe banner at the top of your email. We just kept one here just saying, click here to return to your items. It's going to be very simple, and it's going to capture the shopper's attention almost immediately to remind them to go back to their cart. This will help increase click rates. Then obviously showcasing the logo at the top, the customer clues in and knows who the email is from. Next, we want a strong direct header at the top of the email that's focused on the purpose of our message, which is to recover their abandoned cart. Next, underneath, we might have a subheader like this that just provides a little bit more context. Then one of the most important parts of an abandoned cart email is the actual dynamic product block, showing them what they left behind. Beneath it, we have the button so the customer can go ahead and finish their checkout, with some body text as well that provides a little bit more context for the email. I also included a first name merge field at the top of this. It's not necessary, and honestly, I'd probably remove it because most customers will not have their first name in Klaviyo, so you don't want it to come up as blank. In the next part of the email, we're going to tackle the actual problem in the customer journey. That is when someone abandons a cart, and that's often because they're not sold on the purchase. So over here, we're going to mention anything that's going to ease that purchase for the customer and increase the likelihood of them actually feeling comfortable about placing the order. So number one, they won't pay additional shipping above $99. You would not believe how well this works, including it in your emails. It seriously does. Just put it in your abandoned cart emails, and I guarantee you it will increase the conversion. Next, we're showcasing the easy returns. If the customer doesn't like it, they can return it without any hassle. And number three, we're just talking about the Lululemon quality guarantee, and that's going to be a huge selling point here because even if it's expensive, you're likely not going to have to replace it for a long time because the quality is so good. And finally, we have what I call a bottom banner over here. Now, you don't need to include an offer, but just for the sake of this example, I did just to show, and here's what it might look like. Just a simple header, some text underneath, a discount code, and a simple button. And also, one other thing I want to point out is that the button at the bottom of the email was a simple soft call to action, because if the customer gets all the way to the bottom and they still haven't clicked through, they're likely not 100% sure about making that purchase. So we have a softer call to action at the bottom and then a more strong call to action, more direct at the top of the email. So now we looked at how to create an effective abandoned cart email. Now let's put it all together and create the strategy for all the emails in the flow. I'm going to walk you through this by showing you real life examples of a sample abandoned cart flow that my team made for Arc'teryx. So to start off email number one in your abandoned cart flow, you want to make sure it's super simple, short, and just to the point. Remind them of the product that they abandoned and just let them go ahead and shop. So as you can see in the Arc'teryx example over here, we have a simple header, dynamic product block showing them what they left behind, a couple buttons, and also the text at the bottom there. You want this going out around 30 minutes after someone abandons a cart, just as a simple reminder. You can also do something like this at the bottom of your email. This is intended to work as a GIF, so it just rotates between some common things that the customer should know. For example, hassle-free returns, free shipping, and whatever else that's important for your brand. That's email number one. Let's move on to email number two. In email number two, once again, we want to introduce the offer plus some FAQs. We want the header of the email to be very clear and obvious what the customer is going to be getting. So for here, we have 10% off your gear. The customer immediately knows that they're getting an offer, which is going to be the highest converting part of the email. In the second email, you want to make it apparent to the customer what offer they're getting, because this is going to be the biggest factor to drive that purchase home. So as you can see, we have 10% off your gear at the top, complete your order and save, and just the dynamic product block below so they know what product they left behind. Then the discount code, the checkout now button, some copy beneath it, jump into the FAQs. So you can insert whatever FAQs that are relevant for your brand. Oftentimes, some of the major ones will be how long does shipping take and is shipping free? Number two, is there a guarantee? I always love to include unconditional money back guarantees. So for whatever reason, they're always able to get a refund. And then three, you could mention anything else. Once again, at the bottom of the email, we have a softer call to action, return to cart. The email all around is not too long. It's going to be just enough to get that customer to get back on the site and feel comfortable about making a purchase. Now we're moving on to email three, where we're going to have some urgency for the offer that's expiring and some sort of guarantee or risk reversal to really drive that purchase home without friction. So you can see at the top of this Arc'teryx email, we have your 10% off ends at midnight. Once again, playing on the urgency with use code ARC10 before it expires. Then once again, keeping the dynamic product block at the top of the email. This is super important. Notice how the banners in all these emails are not long. They're going to be relatively short. This is going to make it very easy for the customer to see what product they actually left behind at the top of the email above the folds. That's just the best way that I found to do it after setting up this flow for about 75 different brands today. Beneath it, we have the discount code, the checkout now button, some copy, and we're also going to have this block over here that acts as a risk reversal. So 30-day returns, no questions asked, free shipping, and world-class customer support. Also, the copy at the bottom says try it, test it, return it if it's not right. That's basically the risk reversal for this email. Moving on to email number four, we want to focus on the offer extension, which is going to drive more urgency, plus some social proof as well. Like I mentioned before, social proof can be shown in like 1,000 different ways, whether it be reviews, testimonials, review images, or anything that makes you seem credible. You can go ahead and include it in the email. So for this Arc'teryx email, we just said something like this: trusted by 20,000 outdoor athletes. Obviously, that number for Arc'teryx is more than 20,000. This is just a sample. We're showcasing some review images or any images of like the products out in the wilds. We're also showcasing the offer extension in the banner of the email over here. The dynamic product block just beneath it with the discount code, some copy in the middle of the email, some Some reviews, once again, utilizing social proof. Speaking of which, if we really wanted to take this section up a notch, we can add review images over here somewhere and even call out the customer's name, maybe where they're from. And that also acts as even more social proof because it seems more credible. Then closing out the email with a simple button at the bottom and then the GIF at the bottom over here, which once again reinforces basic purchasing info. In email number 5, we want to increase the incentive plus answer some objections. So we have a header over here saying still unsure. Let's make your decision easier. We have the dynamic product block at the top as well, the discount code, some body text, and then once again, we have the objection handles over here, one review, and then also we're going to showcase some other products that the customers might be interested in, because if they get to email 5 and they still haven't checked out this one product, we want to showcase some other products as well that might pique their interest. Email number 6 is basically going to be the final incentive push. So that 15% offer that we just looked at for Arc'teryx, we're going to make one final push for it. So your 15% off ends tonight. And then once again, some social proof in the middle of the email, and then showcasing some other products that the customer can shop. But the main focus of this email is to get them to shop with that offer. Finally, we like to do a last chance plain text, which would be maybe from the founder or from the team, depending on the size of your brand. It can be something as simple as this. Just a quick note before your card expires, your 15% off ends tonight. We'd hate for you to miss it. Include the code, and then just an easy way for the customer to go ahead and shop. Oftentimes, this performs really well because we're changing from the design-based emails to a simple plain text email. Even if you wanted to send something like this, a short, simple plain text email as a campaign, you'll likely see it's going to perform very, very well. So we're going to change it up a bit here in email 7. Real quick, if you're liking this video so far, you'll love the free guide that I included in the description on everything you're going to need to know for creating an abandoned cart flow. In this guide, I go into way more depth than I can in this short 15-minute video. Plus, I've also added some bonuses, including a 100 abandoned cart email swipe file with some of the best abandoned cart emails that I could find on the internet, ready to go Figma templates that you can use to create your brand new abandoned cart emails. A custom ChatGPT built by myself and my team that will write your brand's new abandoned cart flow using all the frameworks that we mentioned in this video in literally seconds. If you want access to all that, check the link in the description and claim your free guide. Great, so now you know how to create your improved abandoned cart flow. Now we can start looking at some advanced strategies so you can take this flow to the next level, like retention.com. In a nutshell, what retention.com does is it captures emails of people who are browsing your site but haven't explicitly opted in. So let's say someone adds a product to their cart, but they're not on the email list, they can still receive an abandoned cart email from your brand. Oftentimes, we see this improving flow revenue by anywhere from like 15 to upwards of like 80% for some brands. Now, I'm not going to recommend you go ahead and use this. I'm just showing you the options that are available because this is kind of a legal gray area, but I will say that a lot of top brands that you know are using it today. Here's an example of an account that uses it and the extra revenue that they generated. The next advanced strategy I want to talk about is an abandoned cart pop-up. So when someone abandons a cart and before they leave a site, we're going to remind them what they left behind and give them an incentive to go ahead and complete their purchase. This is going to work really great, and you can do it with the tool like Just Do Know. Next, you can even segment your abandoned cart flow. For example, you can do it based on cart value. So if your free shipping threshold is above $50, you can simply set up two paths where path A that's above $50 gets email 1 that says you qualify for free shipping, and carts below $50 just get the normal abandoned cart email. Even something as simple as this is going to improve your conversion rates because free shipping is a huge motivating factor for a lot of people. For example, if someone's a new customer and you have a high LTV, you might want to increase the discount for them versus repeat customers where they may not need as much of a discount. Next, cross-channel marketing. You can retarget people who abandon carts on platforms like Meta or Google, and you're going to see a very high ROAS on that specific campaign. And if you can do that all correctly, your abandoned cart flows should recover at least 8 to about 15% of all the people who go through the flow. Now that you've got their abandoned cart flow set up, none of it would even matter in the first place if you got this one thing wrong, and that's your email deliverability. Because if your emails aren't perfectly landing in the customer's inboxes, it's ruining any chance of maximizing your potential with your email marketing. If you want to learn how to perfect your brand's deliverability in under 15 minutes, click this video below. I'll see you in the next one.